be truthful with you, I've never had to lay my hands on anyone except for one young lady who actually ran past me onto the estate once. And when I grabbed her and I was just trying to restrain her to bring her out, and she scratched me. That's the only altercation I ever had in my whole 25 years of security. No, I've never had that. I guess like you, people have picked up on my personality, and I don't use my largeness as a toughness. I'm not a tough guy. I'm not a Charles Barkley type, or I don't go looking for trouble. I think I'm pretty mellow, and people pretty much pick up on that. And I've never had any problems.
Nice.
Yeah.
Have you noticed this in your handwriting?
Somewhat, yeah.
Have you ever any idea why you do this?
I kind of do it as a happy statement. I almost want to make a smiley face to let people know that I'm this type of person, and this is how I see the world from my perspective. It's a happy, but like in business, it's not professional to make happy faces on everything you do.
So circles.
Yeah.
Technically, it usually means that somebody has a desire for creativity, desire for creative expression,
right,
and desire to be different.
That's me. That's, in a nutshell, that's me. Like Betty Davis said, there's a recording artist named Betty Davis, and she says in one of her songs, they say I'm different. And, that's me. Even my wife and kids say that I'm a little strange, I'm always asking my wife sometimes, I was telling her, the economy's getting so bad and real estate you can't afford nothing down here. I said, honey, hey, do you want to move to the moon with me? So it's like the moon's the next place. The three things that describe me well, I would say, number one, my compassion to see things better for all people here in life. I would say my ability to have creative expression, and the most important thing is the freedom to be who I think I would want to be here. Those are three of them. Yeah. Well, it almost ties in, but yeah. I trust my wife with everything. For me, and I don't know how I should say this and how to come across, but for me, to have a relationship when you're married and you trust someone with your life and your kids and your family is a total trust. I don't, from time to time you think about, well, what is she doing when you're not around, this and that, but like it's gotten to the point where I trust her. If she was on the other side of the world, I know she would be loyal to me, and I try to be, and I'm the same thing with her. So trust is one thing that's a bond for me.
What about trusting other people, strangers?
Trusting strangers, I'm like this because I also have a thing that I do where I deal with international travelers. And one of the things that I do is I always try to trust people, and I always set myself up to say, like, okay, if I can trust this person and I can help this person, I will. And if they burn me, I just write it off as a loss, and it happens. Yeah, I think I do have a lot of pride. I think it's just part of who I am. My father always told me that in life, things don't come easy. And he said that if you really want something, once you find out what it is in life that you want, he said you go at it full blast. And he said you try to be the best at what you do. And he said sometimes even being the best is not good enough for society or certain situations. So he said you have to persevere and just know that you've done the best that you can do, and then leave it there. And that's the pride I have, like in my writings and when I'm doing things with other people or part of a team sports. If I gave 100%, I might not be the best basketball player in the world, but I've grown up with some of the best basketball players in the world, playing against Magic Johnson, people like that. So
when you were younger? Or
when I was younger, we grew up in the same neighborhood. So what happens is that's the pride. You wanna try to do the best you can. And playing with Magic, even though he was younger than me, he had a certain pride, and that was he always wanted to win. Nobody wants to wait and wait 3 games to get back on. Of course, he didn't have to wait that long because he was such a great player. But That's a good one. That's a good one. I have a BA degree, and I always tell my daughter, we were just talking the other day about this. Well, I was doing all the talking, she was doing the studying. And she was on a computer, this and that, and I had the music going. She said, Dad, can you cut the music? I'm trying to study. I said, oh, come on. I said, you're going to get your degree one day anyway. I said, besides, it doesn't mean anything. All an MA degree means is that you can think. And I said, it's not so much about degrees, it's about your experiences in life. So I said, like, you know, you can learn at the library. Go to the library, you can learn. Go out and meet somebody on the street, you know. When she travels to India, I said, that's one of the best learning experiences. So my thing, as far as intellectual go, I like to think that I know certain things that I've learned from kindergarten to now, and all my experiences in life. And another thing I do is I recycle a lot. I recycle waste, bottles and cans, this and that. And for me to meet some of these people on the street at the recycling center, that in itself is an intellectual plus to meet and hear some of their stories, because it enlightens me.
Did you ask him anything about his mother?
I don't think so.
Okay. The reason I ask is because the eyes, and he referenced his father, and his father seems to be a stable being, so I'm wondering if what we were talking about with the eyes is not true, because it appears as if he may start with the boat and come up. And that's why it looks like he may have issues with his father, but he really may have issues with his mother, because he never mentioned her once. So I found that interesting. That was kind of my aha for this person in hearing his video.
Does anybody study body language at all or have taken body language classes? Did you notice anything that you thought where he might not be telling the whole truth? Covered his mouth a couple of times. What else? Has anyone ever read that when somebody has a small lie, they touch their nose? Yes. Okay, I've read that. And the only time that I noticed it is when he said, it's never caused me any problems, my temper. And he touched his nose. Despite that we didn't get the kindness, we still saw more accuracy in this handwriting sample, and we saw it on the screen than somebody walking in just putting their best foot forward. Because after talking to him, you would never get, your defiance cost you jobs, your aggressiveness got you fired. We would never have guessed that in a million years from talking with the guy. But the handwriting was correct on those.
But I wonder if you had hooked him up to a lie detector thing and you called some of his family members or past girlfriends, if this would have been more accurate.
Well, I definitely think it was more accurate when he was younger, and that's the dilemma that all of us face as we try and gauge how much of this is accurate. If they're not going to tell you the truth, or they have some self-deceit about how they are, then it's very difficult to gauge how accurate this is. And we've been really scientific this weekend as far as our approach and our ability to be humble. Most graphologists would never have the guts to confront their analysis like that, or the ability to articulate it. So I think it just goes back to the evolving nature of what we're doing, and we're really trying to be scientists about it.